Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into something that's already changing the world around us, even if you haven't noticed it yet. Artificial intelligence and automation are moving faster than most people ever expected. What used to be science fiction is now just life. And while this means incredible new technology, smarter gadgets, and even flying taxis in some cities, it also means one uncomfortable truth: some jobs just won't survive. A few years ago, people laughed at the idea that AI could really take over real-world jobs. Fast forward to 2025, and it's not just happening, it's accelerating. Big studies from the World Economic Forum and consulting giants like McKinsey are saying that by the mid-2030s, tens of millions of jobs worldwide will either change forever or disappear entirely. This isn't some distant future, it's happening now. And it's not just cashiers or factory workers anymore. We're seeing AI doing work in law, finance, healthcare, even creative fields like writing and art. Chatbots can now handle customer service. Algorithms can trade stocks faster than any human. And get this, Hollywood studios are already experimenting with fully AI-generated actors. Crazy, right? But here's the thing. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's a wake-up call. Because while it's true that many jobs will vanish, it's also true that new ones will pop up. The people who will thrive in this new world are the ones who understand what's coming and prepare for it. It's not about doom and gloom. It's about adapting. So, in this video, we're going to walk through 15 jobs that are likely to disappear, or change so much they might as well disappear in the next 20 years. If you're working in one of these fields, or thinking about entering them, it might be time to start planning your next move. Don't worry, we'll keep it real, keep it simple, and by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of what's coming. 1. Drivers. Let's kick things off with one of the biggest changes already happening around us: driving jobs. Whether we're talking about taxi drivers, rideshare drivers, truckers, delivery drivers, you name it, automation is coming for this industry fast. Self-driving technology used to sound like a futuristic dream, but here in 2025, it's becoming a daily reality. Companies like Waymo, Tesla, Cruise, and even Amazon are rolling out autonomous vehicles in cities all over the world. Waymo's robotaxis are already giving rides in places like San Francisco, Phoenix, and Los Angeles without a human behind the wheel. And it's not just passenger cars. Autonomous trucks are hitting highways too. Aurora, Embark, and Tesla are testing self-driving big rigs, and Walmart and FedEx are already experimenting with robotic deliveries. Here's why this is a huge deal. In the US alone, around 3.5 million people work as truck drivers, and millions more drive taxis, Ubers, Lyfts, or make deliveries. That's millions of jobs where the main task is driving. And that's exactly what self-driving AI can now do, often more safely and more efficiently. Unlike human drivers, AI doesn't need breaks, doesn't get distracted, and can work 24/7. Governments and big companies are also throwing their weight behind automation. In Europe, Germany has passed laws allowing autonomous vehicles on public roads. In the US, several states are updating regulations to clear the way for more driverless vehicles. Even China is racing ahead, testing robotaxis in cities like Beijing and Shenzhen. What once sounded like a tech experiment is now backed by serious money and political support. Of course, some people believe that driving jobs won't disappear completely, and they're partly right. There will always be edge cases where a human is needed, complicated traffic situations, emergencies, or special customer service experiences. But the number of jobs will shrink dramatically. Instead of millions of drivers, we'll need thousands of technicians, remote vehicle operators, and maintenance workers for the autonomous fleets. The hard truth, if your job today is focused mainly on driving, you'll probably need to learn new skills soon. And this is where it gets tricky. For younger drivers, retraining might be manageable. But what about older workers? People in their 50s or 60s? It's going to be much tougher for them to make a career shift. Some trucking companies are already preparing for the change by offering training programs to help drivers transition into tech roles or fleet management. But let's be honest, not everyone will make the jump. So, while self-driving cars and trucks will bring convenience and lower costs, they'll also create a massive employment shakeup. If you or someone you know depends on driving for a living, now's the time to start thinking about what's next. 2. Farmers. Farming has always been one of the oldest and most essential jobs in human history. For thousands of years, people have worked the land to grow food and feed the population. But in 2025, farming is no longer just about planting seeds and harvesting crops. It's becoming a high-tech industry, and a lot of traditional farming jobs are disappearing because of it. Let's start with what's already happening. Big farms around the world are now using precision agriculture. This means they use AI, drones, and satellite images to monitor crops, check soil conditions, and even predict the best time to plant or harvest. Instead of walking through fields to look for problems, farmers can now get real-time data from their smartphones or laptops. Tractors and harvesters are also getting smarter. Companies like John Deere and New Holland are creating autonomous tractors that can drive themselves, plant seeds, spray pesticides, and harvest crops without any human operator. In fact, John Deere's fully autonomous tractor became commercially available in 2022, and since then, even more farms have started using this technology. But it doesn't stop there. Drones are flying over fields, identifying weeds, pests, and diseases. AI software can recommend the perfect amount of water and fertilizer for each section of a field, which saves money and reduces environmental impact. In greenhouses, robotic arms are picking fruits and vegetables faster and more accurately than human workers. All this technology means fewer people are needed to work on farms. In the past, a family might have needed dozens of workers to manage a large piece of land. Now, one or two highly skilled operators can manage huge farms using machines and software. As a result, the number of traditional farm jobs is shrinking fast. Another major trend is the consolidation of farming. Today, just a handful of massive corporations control most of the world's food production. In fact, as of 2025, 10 big companies dominate almost every major food and beverage brand you can think of. Nestlé, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, and a few others now have an enormous influence on what ends up on your plate. Small family farms are either being bought out or are struggling to keep up with the expensive new technology required to stay competitive. Now, does this mean farming as a career will completely disappear? Not exactly, but the kind of farming jobs will change. Instead of manual laborers, the industry will need more technicians, drone operators, data analysts, and engineers who can maintain and improve these high-tech systems. For young people interested in agriculture, the future isn't about learning how to plow a field. It's about learning how to program the machines that do it for you. And for those who can't or won't adapt, there's a real risk of being left behind. In short, farming is becoming less about physical work and more about technology, data, and management. The romantic idea of working the land by hand is fading, and the farms of the future will look more like tech companies than traditional family businesses. 3. Printers and publishers. Once upon a time, if you wanted news, entertainment, or even instructions for assembling furniture, you grabbed a printed newspaper, magazine, or manual. Print was everywhere, but in 2025, the printing and publishing industry is a shadow of its former self, and the decline is speeding up. Let's start with newspapers and magazines. Back in the early 2000s, millions of people bought a daily paper or subscribed to weekly magazines. Now, most people get their news from their phones. Social media platforms, news apps, and even AI-powered news feeds deliver information instantly. By the time a newspaper prints a story, most readers have already heard about it, probably yesterday. Because of this, many print publications have shut down or gone fully digital. Famous magazines like Glamour, Marie Claire, and Men's Journal have either stopped printing or drastically cut back. Even major newspapers are struggling. The only reason some, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, are still around is because they've built strong online subscription models. Without digital paywalls, they'd be gone too. But it's not just the physical paper that's disappearing. The jobs connected to printing and publishing are vanishing. Printing presses that once employed thousands now sit idle. Typesetters, proofreaders, and print production managers are becoming rare. Many publishing companies are downsizing, replacing people with AI writing tools and content generators. Yes, you heard that right. AI can now write articles, reports, and even short stories. News organizations and websites already use AI to write things like sports recaps, stock reports, and weather summaries. AI doesn't need breaks, doesn't get writer's block, and can churn out thousands of words in minutes. This means fewer jobs for human writers, editors, and journalists, especially those who focus on simple, fact-based reporting. Even the advertising side of publishing has changed. In the past, magazines and newspapers made money from selling ad space. Now, companies prefer targeted digital ads because they reach the exact audience they want and track every click and sale. Print ads can't compete with that. One more thing: books. While physical books aren't completely gone, they're holding on better than newspapers. Ebooks and audiobooks are eating up more market share every year. Self-publishing platforms like Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing let authors skip traditional publishers entirely. AI is even starting to help people write and format books automatically. So, what does the future look like for printers and publishers? A much smaller workforce, more automation, and a shift toward digital everything. The romantic image of the busy newsroom or the old-school printing press is now more of a museum exhibit than a career option. The bottom line, if you're thinking about working in traditional print media or publishing, it's time to rethink. The industry isn't just changing, it's shrinking. 4. Cashiers. If you've been to a grocery store, a fast food restaurant, or even a clothing store lately, you've probably noticed something. There are fewer cashiers than ever. And that's not by accident. Retailers everywhere are replacing human cashiers with self-checkout stations, mobile payment apps, and even stores with no cashiers at all. Let's start with the obvious: self-checkout machines. A few years ago, they were slow, clunky, and often needed a staff member to fix constant errors. But now, the technology has improved a lot. Major grocery chains like Walmart, Kroger, and Tesco have fully embraced self-checkouts. In many locations, they now outnumber traditional lanes with human cashiers. Some stores even operate entirely with self-checkout. No cashiers in sight. Then there's the next level: cashierless stores. Amazon was the first big player to launch this idea with its Amazon Go stores. You walk in, grab what you want, and walk out. Cameras, sensors, and AI track what you take and charge your account automatically. No lines, no checkout. Walmart and other big brands are now testing similar technology. On top of that, mobile payment apps like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and retailer-specific apps are making it easier for people to skip the cashier altogether. Some fast food chains like McDonald's and Starbucks encourage customers to order and pay through apps. Many restaurants now have QR code menus where you can order and pay without ever speaking to a waiter or cashier. Here's why this is happening. From the business side, replacing cashiers saves a lot of money. Companies don't have to worry about scheduling, breaks, or sick days. Machines can run 24/7, and they don't get tired or make as many mistakes. Plus, during the pandemic, many shoppers and businesses realized how useful contactless shopping could be. That trend didn't fade when lockdowns ended. Instead, it accelerated. To be clear, not every cashier job will disappear. Some customers, especially older ones, still prefer a human touch, and stores want to keep those shoppers happy. But the number of cashier jobs will definitely keep shrinking. According to recent data, millions of retail positions worldwide have already been lost or changed because of automation. And here's the kicker: even the jobs that remain are changing. Cashiers today are often expected to handle multiple roles: stocking shelves, helping customers, and managing self-checkout areas. In other words, businesses are asking for more flexibility from fewer people. If you or someone you know is working as a cashier, now's the time to think about other skills or roles in retail that are harder to automate, like customer service management, inventory, logistics, or even tech support for the very machines that are replacing traditional cashier jobs. In short, the days of standing behind a register and scanning items all day are coming to an end. 5. Travel agents. Once upon a time, booking a trip meant sitting down with a travel agent, flipping through brochures, and letting them handle all the details: flights, hotels, rental cars, even tours. Fast forward to 2025, and that job has almost disappeared from everyday life. Why? Simple. Most people now book their own trips online. Websites and apps like Expedia, Booking.com, Airbnb, and Google Travel have made it super easy to search, compare, and pay for travel, all from your phone or laptop. Need a hotel? There are hundreds at your fingertips. Want to compare flight prices? Sites like Skyscanner and Kayak do that instantly, and it's not just about comparing prices anymore. In 2025, AI-powered travel assistants are changing the game. Tools like Hopper, Kayak's AI assistant, and even ChatGPT-based trip planners can now recommend destinations, suggest the best times to travel, alert you to price drops, and even create entire travel itineraries. What used to take a travel agent hours now takes a few seconds with AI. Some platforms go even further. Google's travel tools not only find flights and hotels, but also track price trends and tell you the best moment to book. AI can also adjust your plans if something changes, like finding a new flight automatically if yours gets canceled. All of this means less need for traditional travel agents. In fact, according to recent data, the number of travel agents worldwide has dropped sharply over the past decade, and the decline is expected to continue. Most people under 40 have never even thought about using a human travel agent unless they're booking something super specialized, like a luxury safari or a complicated cruise. And even in those high-end markets, change is happening. AI concierge services are popping up, offering personalized planning for wealthy travelers without the high fees that human agents used to charge. Of course, there are still some travel agents out there, mainly focusing on luxury travel or very complex international trips. Some people prefer a human touch when spending thousands of dollars on a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But these are exceptions, not the rule. For most travelers, the convenience, speed, and cost savings of AI-driven travel planning are just too good to pass up. The middleman is disappearing, and people are booking directly with airlines, hotels, and rental services, often at lower prices. So, if you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, or already are one, the writing's on the wall. The future of travel booking is online, automated, and AI-powered. Human travel agents are becoming a niche service in a world that's moving fast toward full automation. 6. Manufacturing workers. If there's one industry where the march of robots and AI has been impossible to ignore, it's manufacturing. Factories that once buzzed with hundreds or even thousands of workers are now dominated by robotic arms, conveyor systems, and AI-powered quality control. The change didn't happen overnight. It started decades ago with simple machines that handled repetitive tasks. But in 2025, automation has reached a whole new level. Robots don't just lift heavy objects or weld car parts anymore. They can now assemble complex electronics, perform precision tasks like installing tiny components on microchips, and even package products ready for shipping. Collaborative robots, or cobots, are also on the rise. These are robots designed to work with humans rather than replace them entirely, at least for now. They can handle tasks like sorting, moving, or inspecting products, while human workers take care of more detailed or unpredictable jobs. But as cobots get smarter and more flexible, even those human roles are starting to shrink. AI is also playing a huge role. Advanced software can now manage entire factory floors. It predicts maintenance needs, monitors product quality, and adjusts production schedules in real time. This reduces downtime, saves money, and, yes, requires fewer human workers. And let's not forget 3D printing, which has gone from a hobbyist's toy to a serious manufacturing tool. Companies are now 3D printing everything from car parts to entire houses. This technology can eliminate multiple steps in traditional manufacturing, cutting down on labor even further. Big brands like Tesla, Apple, and General Motors are at the forefront of this shift. But even smaller manufacturers are getting in on the action. Why? Because robots don't call in sick. They don't need breaks. They don't form unions or ask for raises. For business owners trying to stay competitive, automation is an easy choice, even if it's a tough break for workers. The result? Traditional manufacturing jobs are disappearing fast. The demand for assembly line workers, machine operators, and packagers has fallen sharply. According to recent reports, millions of these jobs have already been lost in the past decade, and the trend will only continue as technology improves. That doesn't mean there's no work left in manufacturing, but the jobs that remain are very different. Instead of assembling products, workers now need to program robots, maintain machines, and analyze production data. These roles require technical skills that most factory workers weren't trained for in the past. For younger workers, there's a chance to adapt by learning these new skills. Many community colleges and technical schools now offer training in robotics, automation, and industrial AI. But older workers who've spent decades doing manual labor often find it much harder to make the transition. So, just like farming before it, manufacturing is becoming more about technology than muscle. The factory worker of tomorrow might spend more time at a computer than on the assembly line. 7. Dispatchers. Not too long ago, dispatchers were the beating heart of operations for taxis, trucks, emergency services, airlines, you name it. Their job? Coordinate people and vehicles, handle calls, manage schedules, and keep everything running smoothly. But in 2025, a lot of that human coordination is being replaced by, you guessed it, AI. Let's start with what's already happened. Remember when you had to call a taxi company and speak to a dispatcher to get a ride? That job practically vanished overnight thanks to ride-sharing apps like Uber and Lyft. Today, you tap a button and algorithms automatically dispatch the nearest driver. No phone calls, no human in the middle. The same thing is happening in trucking and logistics. Companies like FedEx, UPS, and Amazon use AI-powered systems to handle delivery routes, optimize schedules, and even predict traffic patterns. What once took teams of dispatchers working around the clock now happens instantly through software. AI doesn't just react, it predicts delays and reroutes drivers before problems even occur. Even emergency services are starting to feel the shift. While 911 call takers and emergency dispatchers are still around, and probably will be for a while, AI tools are already helping them prioritize calls, suggest responses, and even dispatch the nearest available units automatically. Some cities are experimenting with fully automated dispatch systems for non-critical situations. In aviation, AI-powered air traffic control is being tested to assist or replace human dispatchers and controllers in managing flight schedules and routing planes safely. The US and Europe are already working on AI air traffic management to keep up with the rising number of drones and autonomous aircraft expected in the coming years. Why is this happening? Simple: speed, efficiency, and cost. AI can process thousands of variables, traffic, weather, driver availability, customer needs, in seconds. Human dispatchers just can't compete with that level of data crunching. Plus, AI doesn't take breaks or make errors from fatigue. Now, let's be clear. Some specialized dispatch roles, especially in critical fields like firefighting or military operations, still require human oversight. After all, there are situations where human judgment and experience can't be replaced. At least, not yet. But the bulk of day-to-day dispatching, especially in transportation and logistics, is already shifting to machines. So, what's the future for dispatchers? Like many other jobs on this list, it's about evolving. People who once scheduled trucks or cabs might now find work managing AI systems, maintaining the software, or handling customer service when the tech runs into problems. But the old-school image of someone sitting at a desk, talking into a radio, and manually coordinating dozens of drivers or flights, that's quickly becoming a thing of the past. 8. Waiters and bartenders. If you've eaten out or grabbed a drink recently, you might have noticed a big change. More tech, fewer people. The restaurant and bar industries are undergoing a quiet but powerful transformation, and it's reshaping jobs like waiters and bartenders. Let's start with ordering food. Many casual restaurants and fast food spots have swapped paper menus and human servers for QR codes and tablets. You scan, order, and pay, all without needing a waiter. Places like Chili's, Applebee's, and even some smaller restaurants are using tabletop tablets where customers can browse the menu and order at their own pace. Fast casual giants like McDonald's, Panera, and Shake Shack have rolled out self-order kiosks at many locations. Customers punch in their orders, customize them, and pay. No human required. During the pandemic, this became even more popular as people wanted to minimize contact. But that's just the beginning. In some restaurants, robot servers are now delivering food right to your table. They can carry plates, navigate around obstacles, and even greet customers. Chains and hotels, especially in places like Japan, South Korea, and parts of the US, have started using these robot helpers. They don't get tired, they don't call in sick, and they don't expect tips. In the bar scene, robotic bartenders are no longer science fiction. Cruise ships like Royal Caribbean have already deployed them, and a few trendy bars have followed. These machines can mix dozens of cocktails quickly and with perfect consistency. Some hotels and airports are testing robot bartenders for speed and novelty. Now, let's be real. Not every waiter or bartender job will vanish. Fine dining, luxury restaurants, and certain bars still rely on personal service and human interaction. No robot can replace the charm of a skilled bartender who remembers your favorite drink or a server who recommends the perfect wine pairing. Experience and hospitality still matter. But for most casual dining and fast food, automation is taking over. Restaurants love it because it reduces labor costs, minimizes human error, and can operate longer hours without worrying about staffing shortages, which have been a big problem in recent years. The shift also means that the jobs that remain are changing. Instead of traditional waitstaff, restaurants are hiring more tech support workers, kitchen automation specialists, and customer experience managers who can handle issues that robots and apps can't solve. So, if you're working in food service or thinking about it, the message is clear: adapt or risk being left behind. Learn to work with the tech, not against it. The dining experience is evolving fast, and the robots have already found their seat at the table. 9. Bank tellers. There was a time when almost every adult went to the bank regularly. Deposits, withdrawals, transfers, you had to do it all in person. Bank tellers were everywhere. Fast forward to 2025, and those visits are becoming rare. Most banking now happens through smartphones, ATMs, or completely online. Let's start with what most people use today: mobile banking apps. Nearly every bank has one, and they're packed with features. You can transfer money, pay bills, deposit checks using your phone's camera, and even apply for loans or credit cards without stepping into a branch. In the US, the UK, and much of Europe, digital banks like Chime, Monzo, Revolut, and N26 have exploded in popularity. They have no physical branches at all. ATMs have also taken over many teller tasks. They can now handle deposits, withdrawals, transfers, and even give account updates. Some advanced ATMs even offer video chat with customer service reps if you need extra help. Banks themselves are encouraging the shift. Operating physical branches with human staff is expensive. According to recent reports, thousands of bank branches worldwide have closed over the past 5 years, especially in urban areas where customers prefer digital services. In rural areas, mobile banking apps have become a lifeline, replacing the need for nearby branches altogether. But it's not just about apps and ATMs. AI-powered chatbots are now handling customer questions 24/7. They can reset passwords, explain fees, suggest products, and even flag suspicious account activity. These bots never sleep and can handle thousands of customers at once, something no team of human tellers can match. Now, to be fair, some specialized bank services still require human interaction. Mortgages, wealth management, and complex financial planning often involve face-to-face meetings. But even these are changing. Many banks offer video consultations now, cutting down on the need for in-person visits. For everyday transactions, the human bank teller is becoming a rare sight. This shift isn't just about convenience. Banks are saving billions by reducing staff and closing branches. And customers? They like the speed and flexibility of banking anytime, anywhere. If you're working as a teller today or thinking about that career, it's time to consider a change. The future of banking jobs will be in fraud detection, cybersecurity, financial advising, and tech support for digital services. Roles that require skills automation can't easily replace. The bottom line, counting cash and stamping papers is out. Managing technology and customer relationships is in. 10. Military pilots and soldiers. The image of soldiers marching into battle or pilots dogfighting in the skies is still strong in movies. But in the real world of 2025, technology has completely changed modern warfare, and it's phasing out a lot of traditional military roles. First, let's talk about drones. A decade ago, drones were mostly used for surveillance. Now, they're doing much more. Militaries around the world, especially the US, China, Russia, and Israel, use armed drones for precision strikes, border patrol, and even logistics. These drones can fly long missions without risking a human pilot's life. Operators control them from thousands of miles away, sometimes with AI assisting in targeting and navigation. But it's not just in the air. Ground and sea drones are becoming common too. Unmanned ground vehicles, UGVs, can transport supplies or patrol dangerous areas. Autonomous submarines and surface vessels handle reconnaissance and mine detection without risking sailors. Even AI-assisted decision-making systems are now being tested. These tools can analyze battlefield data in real time, suggest tactics, and identify threats faster than human commanders. Some countries are experimenting with fully autonomous systems that could, one day, select and engage targets on their own, a controversial and heavily debated move. What does this mean for military personnel? For pilots, the writing's on the wall. Human fighter pilots are still important today, but AI-powered drones can already outperform them in certain tasks. In 2023, an AI-controlled F-16 successfully defeated a human pilot in simulated dogfights. It's only a matter of time before drones take over more air combat roles completely. For soldiers, large ground armies are becoming less common in many advanced countries. The focus has shifted to special operations forces, cyber warfare units, and technology specialists who manage and maintain drones, robots, and digital defense systems. Recruitment has already started changing. Militaries are looking for coders, engineers, drone operators, and cybersecurity experts. Physical strength and marksmanship are still valued, but tech skills are becoming just as important, if not more. That said, human soldiers aren't disappearing entirely. There will always be situations where boots on the ground are necessary. But the number of traditional infantry roles is shrinking, especially as military budgets shift toward AI, robotics, and cyber capabilities. For anyone thinking about a military career today, the smartest move is to focus on the tech side. The battlefield of the future will be fought with keyboards and algorithms as much as with rifles and fighter jets. 11. Fast food workers. If there's any job that's been called easy to automate for years, it's fast food. And in 2025, that prediction is becoming reality. You've probably already seen self-order kiosks in places like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. Customers pick their meals, customize them, and pay, all without a cashier. What used to be a novelty is now standard in thousands of locations around the world. But kiosks are just the start. Kitchen robots are the next big thing. Take Flippy, for example, a robot that can flip burgers and fry food at White Castle. It's fast, precise, and doesn't need breaks. Chipotle has introduced a robot called Chippy to make tortilla chips. Sweetgreen, a salad chain, has launched the Infinite Kitchen, a fully automated assembly line for salads and bowls. These robots are becoming more affordable and more advanced every year. They don't just save on labor costs, they reduce mistakes, maintain consistent food quality, and can work 24/7. No sick days, no turnover, no strikes. Why is this happening so quickly? Two big reasons. 1. Labor shortages. Since the pandemic, restaurants have struggled to hire and keep workers. Many people left the industry for good, looking for better pay or safer working conditions. 2. Rising wages. In many places, minimum wages have increased or are set to rise soon. While that's great for workers, it also makes automation a cheaper long-term solution for businesses. Even delivery is getting automated. Domino's and Pizza Hut are testing robot delivery vehicles and drones. In some cities, you can already have your fast food delivered by a small self-driving robot. Now, let's be clear, not every fast food worker will lose their job. Restaurants still need people to handle complex tasks, deal with unexpected situations, and provide customer service. And in fast casual or sit-down restaurants, customers often still prefer interacting with humans. But the number of low-skill, repetitive jobs in the food industry is shrinking fast. Instead of hiring 20 workers to take orders, flip burgers, and package fries, a restaurant might only need a handful of people to supervise robots, troubleshoot problems, and assist customers. For young people looking to work in fast food as a first job or part-time gig, it's getting tougher to find those opportunities. And for long-time workers, learning new skills, especially tech skills, is becoming essential. In short, the future of fast food isn't just about the food. It's about automation, AI, and a workforce that knows how to work with the machines, not get replaced by them. 12. Telemarketers. If there's one job that's almost completely been wiped out by technology, it's telemarketing. Back in the day, companies hired armies of people to cold call potential customers, pitch products, and convince them to buy. Fast forward to 2025, AI, smart ads, and data-driven marketing have taken over the whole game. Think about the last time you actually answered a cold call. Most people don't anymore. Smartphones now automatically block spam calls. Caller ID apps warn users about telemarketers, and most customers simply don't want to waste time talking to someone trying to sell them something. At the same time, targeted online advertising has replaced the need for cold calls. Platforms like Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok gather huge amounts of data about what users like, what they search for, and even how long they pause on certain ads. Companies use this data to serve personalized ads that show up right when you're most likely to buy. But it gets even deeper. AI-powered chatbots now handle customer outreach. Instead of calling people randomly, businesses use chatbots that can engage with customers through text, email, or even voice. These bots answer questions, suggest products, and collect information without ever involving a human salesperson. And the chatbots are getting scarily good. Thanks to large language models, like the one you're interacting with now, they can carry on conversations that sound natural and helpful. Some companies are even using AI voices that sound almost human for outbound calls when necessary. Though that's becoming less common as more people prefer messaging or email over phone calls. The result? Telemarketing jobs have basically vanished. According to employment data, the number of telemarketing positions has dropped dramatically over the past decade, and the decline is accelerating. Companies that once needed hundreds of phone agents now rely on automated marketing systems and AI assistants. And it's not just about selling products anymore. Even customer service and support roles, which once provided a backup job option for former telemarketers, are becoming automated. AI chatbots now handle basic support for everything from online shopping to tech troubleshooting. For anyone who once worked in telemarketing, the path forward means shifting to roles that require human creativity, empathy, or technical skills. Sales jobs still exist, but they now focus on building long-term relationships and handling complex negotiations, tasks AI can't fully manage yet. Bottom line, the days of dialing random numbers and reading from a script are over. If you want to work in sales or marketing in 2025 and beyond, you need to understand data, customer behavior, and how to work with AI, not compete against it. 13. Accountants and tax preparers. For years, people thought accounting was a safe job. After all, every business needs to keep track of money, file taxes, and make sure the numbers add up, right? Well, in 2025, AI and automation are proving that even white-collar jobs like accounting aren't immune to disruption. Let's start with the basics. Simple bookkeeping and tax preparation, the bread and butter of many accountants, have been largely automated by software. Tools like QuickBooks, FreshBooks, Xero, and Wave handle everything from tracking expenses to generating financial reports. And now, those tools are powered by AI that can automatically categorize transactions, flag suspicious activity, and even give advice on how to improve cash flow. For individuals and small businesses, doing taxes has never been easier. TurboTax, H&R Block, and other platforms use AI to walk users through the process. They can import documents automatically, search for deductions, and warn about possible errors, all things that used to require a professional tax preparer. But the changes don't stop with basic bookkeeping. Larger companies are now using advanced AI systems to analyze financial data, forecast trends, and even help with strategic decision-making. Some Fortune 500 firms are testing generative AI assistants that can draft reports, prepare budgets, and suggest financial strategies. Why are companies making this shift? Simple: cost and speed. AI can process huge amounts of data quickly and accurately. It doesn't take vacation, it doesn't make calculation errors from fatigue, and it doesn't charge hourly fees. Of course, not every part of accounting is easy to automate. Complex tax situations, audits, forensic accounting, and high-level financial consulting still require human judgment and expertise. But here's the catch: fewer professionals are needed for those roles, and they often require more advanced skills than traditional bookkeeping. Even government tax agencies are getting in on the act. Some countries are rolling out pre-filled tax returns, pulling data automatically from employers, banks, and investment accounts. In places like Estonia, tax filing takes just a few minutes because the system already knows almost everything about your finances. So, what does this mean for accountants and tax preparers? The low-skill, repetitive parts of the job are disappearing fast. Professionals who want to stay in the field need to focus on skills that AI can't easily replicate. Things like creative problem-solving, financial strategy, and advisory roles that require personal relationships and deep industry knowledge. In other words, the future accountant isn't someone who just crunches numbers. It's someone who can interpret data, advise clients, and make big-picture financial decisions, often while working alongside AI tools. For students considering accounting as a career, or professionals already in the field, the message is clear: adapt and upskill. The demand for traditional number crunchers is fading, but there's still a future for those who can bring human insight to the table. 15. Stock traders. Once upon a time, stock trading was all about fast-talking brokers shouting across trading floors, making million-dollar deals in seconds. Movies like Wall Street and The Wolf of Wall Street made it look glamorous and very human. But in 2025, the humans are mostly out of the picture. Today, algorithms and AI dominate stock trading. In fact, experts estimate that over 80% of all trades are now handled by automated systems. These systems can analyze massive amounts of data, spot trends, and execute trades in milliseconds, faster than any human possibly could. This shift started years ago with high-frequency trading, HFT, where computers execute thousands of trades per second to take advantage of tiny price differences. Back then, firms spent millions just to get their servers physically closer to stock exchange computers to shave off milliseconds of response time. Now, the tech has gone even further. AI-powered trading bots can process news headlines, earnings reports, and even social media trends to make split-second decisions. Some AIs are trained to spot patterns that no human trader could ever notice. And it's not just the big Wall Street firms. Everyday investors now use robo-advisors like Betterment, Wealthfront, and Fidelity's AI tools. These platforms automatically build and manage portfolios based on your risk level and financial goals. They rebalance investments, reinvest dividends, and even adjust for tax efficiency, all without human intervention. So, where does that leave human stock traders? Frankly, out of most of the day-to-day action. The old jobs, floor traders, order takers, and most broker roles have already vanished. Even many hedge funds now rely more on data scientists and machine learning engineers than traditional traders. That doesn't mean there's no human role at all. Some traders still work in specialized areas where market knowledge and complex judgment are essential. Big picture strategy, managing large institutional portfolios, and relationship-based investment deals still require people. But these jobs are fewer, harder to get, and often require tech skills on top of financial knowledge. For the retail traders who use apps like Robinhood or eToro, well, you're often trading against bots. By the time you spot a good deal and hit buy, algorithms may have already snapped it up and pushed the price higher. The bottom line, speed, data, and AI have taken over. Trading today isn't about gut instincts and handshakes, it's about who has the fastest algorithms and the best data. If you want to work in finance in the future, it's not enough to just know the markets. You'll also need to understand the tech driving those markets, and maybe even learn to build the algorithms yourself. 15. Construction workers. For a long time, construction seemed like one of those jobs that couldn't be replaced by machines. After all, how can a robot climb ladders, lay bricks, or pour concrete with the flexibility and judgment of a human worker? Well, in 2025, that's starting to change, and fast. Let's start with what's already happening. Robotics and automation are becoming common on construction sites. Machines like SAM, semi-automated mason, can lay bricks much faster than a human crew. Robotic arms handle repetitive tasks like welding and drywall finishing. Some machines even install tiles and paint walls. One of the biggest game changers is 3D printing. Entire houses and office buildings are now being 3D printed layer by layer using special concrete mixtures. Companies like Icon and Cobod have already built homes and apartment complexes this way. 3D printing can slash both construction time and labor costs, making it attractive for developers and a real threat to traditional construction jobs. Drones are also playing a big role. They survey land, monitor progress, and inspect structures. This reduces the need for on-site supervisors and speeds up project timelines. Behind the scenes, AI-driven project management software is optimizing everything from scheduling to materials ordering. These systems can predict delays, suggest faster building methods, and even spot safety risks before they become problems. But here's the big picture. While automation is taking over repetitive and dangerous tasks, there's still a need for skilled human workers, at least for now. Electricians, plumbers, and specialized operators who can work alongside machines are still in demand. The workers who can set up, maintain, and troubleshoot the new tech are becoming the most valuable people on a construction site. However, general labor roles are disappearing. Jobs that require basic skills and heavy lifting, the kinds of work that millions of people rely on, are shrinking fast. Developers are looking to cut costs, and machines don't need breaks, overtime pay, or health insurance. The shift is also global. In countries where labor costs are high, like the US, the UK, and parts of Europe, automation is speeding up. In developing countries, where cheap labor once kept automation at bay, rising wages and technology access are starting to change the equation. For younger workers entering construction today, the smart move is to learn tech and specialized skills. Operating robots, managing 3D printers, and using AI software will keep you valuable in the industry. For older workers, adapting might be tougher, but training programs are starting to pop up to help with the transition. Bottom line, the construction site of tomorrow will be filled with machines, not muscle. The workers who survive and thrive will be those who know how to work with, program, and manage the technology. So there you have it. 15 jobs, plus a surprising bonus, that are either disappearing or changing so much that they'll barely be recognizable in the next 20 years. Some of these shifts are already happening right in front of us. For others, it's just a matter of time. But remember, this isn't all bad news. Yes, automation and AI will replace many roles, but they'll also create new opportunities. Jobs we can't even imagine yet will become the careers of tomorrow. Just like farming gave way to factory jobs, and factory jobs evolved into tech careers, today's workers have a chance to adapt, learn, and thrive in the new economy. The key? Stay curious, stay flexible, keep learning. If you can work with technology instead of against it, you'll always stay ahead of the curve. And hey, this isn't the end of the conversation. What jobs do you think are next to disappear or transform? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you're seeing out there in the real world. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more content like this. We cover the future of work, technology trends, and how you can stay ahead in a rapidly changing world. And if you want to go the extra mile, give us a like and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. The future's coming fast. Let's face it together. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.